It's your boy Intro to Intern, and this is Crackmasters Productions present Info with Intro podcast. Hope everybody's doing well. So I'm going to be talking about setbacks in the audio and video field. But like I always say, you can apply this to any field because audio and video is definitely very important nowadays. And so let's get into it. Setbacks. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of setbacks. Last minute things that just go completely wrong, which you have to get used to, which is why you can't be comfortable doing these type. This is not a business where it's something that you're gonna learn and you're never gonna stop learning. There's going to be daily lessons that you may need to learn for whatever reason, or you might have to pass them down to someone else that you can give them advice, or it's just one of those things where it's unfortunate you had to learn it the hard way, and you're hoping that this is the first and last time you learn that lesson, because that lesson really set you back. You have things like not being organized and not structuring your monthly, weekly, and it gets kind of tricky because it's a constant battle every day. You have people that's trying to steal from you, whether it's people you work with or just people that's doing electronically scamming. Even legitly people that you do business with, such as it could be banks, it could be people who have access to your account to auto renew something, a subscription, and they somehow double charge you and hope that you don't see it or hit you with another fee that they didn't hit you with before. And so it's hard to kind of keep up with other companies and businesses and just people in general with their new policies, because that might ultimately affect your business. You might not see that, and all of a sudden, it's not saying that you don't have the money, but you just nowadays with everything going on with theft being high and everything being cyber, you got to be careful with having excess amount of money that can be stolen. You do want to leave a little bit extra, but that doesn't mean that you should be charged extra. And so you have these setbacks in that aspect of things where, you know, um, you might have, like, let's say $5,000 and your rent is 4,000, and all of a sudden it's a new year, and then, it got increased. Example, hypothetically speaking, $1,000 extra. You might have, everybody around you just slowly adding their fees, whether it's economic purposes or just sheer greed, so you have to constantly, try to be on top of that. But sometimes, those things just happen out of nowhere, and you just gotta just, it's tough. You gotta be on the phone all the time. You gotta Zoom this, call, FaceTime that, email this, email that, until, you justify that what they're doing is wrong, and that why am I even getting these surprises? And now imagine 10 people you do business with, all have some kind of hidden fee that sets you back by a lot, subscriptions that you got a discount on, and now they're charging full price new year. So now you got to raise your prices because everyone else is raising their prices on you. And that might affect your customers. Your customers might not want to do business with you because they're like, wow, this guy's raising his price. Not intentionally, but at the same token, they have their reasons for whatever it is. But, you also have yours. Everybody's trying to survive. But then you got a group of people that might be greedy. So that sets you back. You losing customers will be a setback. You losing clientele will be a setback. You dealing with people that's either your contractors, or they work for you, or you have some kind of structure as far as a 9 to 5, and you have your business, and then you get fired out of nowhere, laid off, and you're caught in the middle between paying people and you getting paid, and everything just start crumbling. That can be a setback, a major setback. Late on your loans because of an emergency, your credit getting damaged because of an emergency, family emergency that came out of nowhere, unexpected phone calls, setbacks such as your phone company, your internet company, being that we use that, um, I'll say 90% of the time, and or electricity, throw that in there, and there's an outage. So now people, excuse me, if that's not probably doing business or ambitious, they may not care, but everyone else is like, whoa, bro, like, you know, um, I'm doing business here. Like, I can't afford to like have an outage. I can't afford for my phone to be off, or there's a lot of domino effects that could happen that can ultimately, set you back. All of these are setbacks, all of them. Everything nowadays is pretty crucial. And you got to stay calm, but your health could be a setback as well. Let me just keep going. Your health could be a setback. Like I said, you might be having merchandise and you're selling merch on the side, or you have uniform that you have to create, and then the person, I've been there where, they're slacking on you. They don't want you to grow as a business, or they don't have good business management, time management they self, or they're getting a setback. They have less employees and stuff like that. So what ends up happening is, you get a slow up of your production because their production is slowed up, and you rely on them to produce your garments for whatever reason, and guess what? They can't fulfill that order for you. People who want to order overseas, yeah, the price is great, but guess what? That could set you back. Even if you got, express shipping, you expedite the shipping, because guess what? Now it's stuck on the boat, stuck on the plane. It didn't even get on the plane as expected. There was a storm over there. There was a shortage over there. We are all connected in some way, somehow. We all need each other some way, somehow. So, you know, but if someone gets affected in the chain, these all set you back regardless, whatever the case, whether it's you putting yourself in a bad situation or you doing everything right, you kind of have to prepare for that. And you can't really prepare for that because you don't know what to really prepare for, because it can just happen. And you just got to be strong. You got to have more experience, keep going, keep pushing forward so that you can kind of navigate, and at least you won't go through the same mistakes. That's why I always tell people it's a journey. Like, I've been doing music for a while. I learned so much. I've been doing audio and video for a while. I've been doing merch for a while, marketing, production, giving out information. So it only gets better. And you want to pick something that's not going to go away. Certain things might go away, but the core of it will be there. Like, yeah, they got AI, this and that, but there's still people will use a dabble with it, but they still want to go see their favorite artist that's human live, or see them on TikTok or Instagram doing their thing. Nobody's gonna really, at least I don't think people will really gravitate towards an artificial intelligent entity that's entertaining them on a regular. Chat GPT is one thing, but then to actually have like in human form and dance and singing, and you know so there's the core of it is still there as far as videos and audio, and we are the forefront. We're being in front of the cameras and behind the cameras. It's just, if you use it right, it could definitely help you skip a few steps, and stop you from getting these setbacks, because it might be an editor, it might be a script writer, it might be an assistant, it might be whatever you want to use the AI for, and that could really help you as far as that aspect. to not get set back because of someone slacking or someone's jealousy or someone's laziness or someone's lack of accountability or someone poor time management, or if you're working with someone that doesn't pay their employees or their contractors well, and then there's a delay, so you got that. But the good side about setbacks is sharpens up your technical skills. As far as in the audio field, bad audio, corrupted footage, missed focus. Each mistake focuses and forces you to understand your gear setup workflow on a deeper level. So, let's just say you have a camera, you have microphone, you have an interface, you have, a Bluetooth, something's going wrong. Don't panic. Try to figure it out. Try to go through steps. Like I always tell you, you need mentorship. Call the person, text the person. This is a perfect example of if you had a job that was potentially paying you a great amount of money, it's nothing for you to call someone and pay them to help you troubleshoot this. I've done it. If you could get it for free, hey, but a lot of the times that's not the case, unless it's a warranty thing, insurance situation, or, like I said, warranty. You have something still under warranty and you can call the company. So, other than that, try to do it yourself if you can. If you're more knowledgeable, you're more seasoned, and don't panic. These setbacks are actually gonna help you. You're gonna learn something. You're gonna be like, yo, hold on, like I really, really learned something new. It's a takeaway. You got things that will ultimately take away, but add on at the same time. It's a hard thing to kind of like accept in your life. So don't be too hard on yourself. These are learning lessons. If you're willing to go through the hardship, the setbacks, you'll be rewarded. You'll be more seasoned. You'll have a better understanding of what's going on. And that's going to make you ultimately smarter for tomorrow. Another thing is they teach problem solving under pressure. In production, things go wrong live. Setbacks train you to adapt fast, stay calm, and deliver anyway. Clients value this more than perfection. So a lot of people might know a lot of things, but there are very few people that have those type of skills. Adapting fast to me is a skill. Staying calm is a skill, and delivering is a skill. When you panic, it looks like you don't know what you're doing. Troubleshooting, taking the time out, because like I said, I've known things like cameras and mixing boards and things go wrong and you really don't know why. You really don't know why these things are going wrong. So sometimes you might have to take a step back, stay calm, relax, and just go with it. Like, okay, try to figure it out, trace the steps back, trace the steps going forward, and find where exactly the problem is. It's no different from mechanics, doctors, video editors. There's all kinds of things that happen, especially when you're dealing with technology. There's all kind of hiccups. There's glitches. There's things that burn out of nowhere. Viruses, updates that needs to be done. Um, it might be a OS and program issue. Maybe your OS is not compatible. Might be a compatibility issue between your OS. It could be your phone. It could be your laptop. It could be your tablet and your program or your app. It could be the hardware and your software. It could be hardware with hardware. Something might be out of date. A cord might be broken in the inside. You might need to replace it or know how to salvage it on the spot. So there's different type of levels when it comes down to these setbacks and being able to troubleshoot them. Separate hobbyists from professionals. Most people quit when it gets hard. Pushing through setbacks instantly puts you ahead of 80% of the field. That's what I was trying to say. A lot of people They might be low hobbyists, they might know, but they lack experience when it comes down to being in a professional environment, aka getting paid for what you do and actually executing and taking the time out. And a lot of people's gonna say, hey, this dude right here, things was going wrong, things went worse, but he stuck with it. He kept cool, kept calm, and got to it. And even if it's stressful. Number four, so it builds resilience for real world productions, late talent, weather issues, location changes, setback prepare you for the chaos that comes with serious production. So we're talking about live, you're dealing with people, you're in the studio, you're on the field, you're in the streets, you're doing a movie, you're doing a podcast, you're doing a show. You got the right equipment, you got the right audio, you got the top of the line stuff, and yet things are not working as planned. You got a gimbal, you got a filter here, you got the perfect sunlight. There's no noise in the streets when you're capturing your audio. You got the next step that you're gonna do after you do this shoot or you do this performance, and yet everything is going wrong in these different locations and different sets. That's what separates me from all these other people that are hobbyists or feel like they just bought a camera. Yeah, so a lot of people nowadays, man, they feel like they gonna, I go through this every single day. Oh, I got this, I know this. It's just about this. It's AI that. Or I got a guy that could do this. Or I've done this before. Or you probably got paid one time for this gig and or there's a change in the industry and now you found a way to get in, but you feel like I'm getting pushed out because I'm old. I've been doing this for a while, make room. But guess what? You still calling me for help. And guess what? I'm gonna tax you. Because why? Because it's about the experience. It's about going through these setbacks. It's about going through these pains. You're paying because you're avoiding the frustrations. You're avoiding the pain of having to go out there and do things and even shoot on your own. I could shoot a video on my own like I'm doing right now. Whether it's this music video, behind the scenes, whatever it is, because I've done this so many times and I've went through the setbacks that I know what to do. Now, like I said, there's always stuff that goes wrong because you're dealing with just nature, environments, different climates. It might be super cold outside, super hot outside. It might be windy. It might be a leak indoors in the studio, from a pipe. Be anything. You gotta know how to adapt. That's the key. Adaptation is what's gonna help you to win in life and in this field. Find the money. Don't let them cut you out. That's the name of the game. But you gotta go through these setbacks. A lot of people don't have time for it, which is cool. That's your clientele. It's cool. It's just not your thing. You're a business owner. Your job is to sell cars. Let me help you with your audio and video. Your job is to set up your podcast. Let me help you when it has problems. Call me when it's there. I'm busy, so call me when you're ready. But that's what it is, you know? Let's move on. Number 5, it forces you to upgrade your workflow. Lost files, missed deadlines, usually to better backups, checklists, and systems that save you long term. So systems, being systematic, it could be as much as a folder on your computer, folder on your hard drive, foldering out and scattered, having all these scattered files in one location, being able to be efficient, time management, being neat, being on time with things. These things will help you from disasters that happen. So allow these setbacks to happen. Oh, I lost my footage. I downloaded. Well, next time stop buying these cheap ass non-name brand companies when it comes down to memory. Don't get me wrong. Some cheap stuff is great. You just got to know the difference between a low cost thing and something that's cheap. Something that, well, yeah, we could try that out. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things that didn't really have a name is now up to par. But certain things, do you really want to lean on that when it comes down to data, when it comes down to your lens, when it comes down to, maybe even your camera. So be mindful of that. But sometimes you just gotta go through it so you can understand to never do that again. And that piece of information, even though you're giving the customer, they appreciate that because, like, okay, this guy really is experienced when it comes down to that. Number seven, it helps you find your niche. So setbacks might show you that you're better at post production for shooting or audio mixing over the live sound. So yeah, you could go through a lot of headaches, a lot of things like you got to replace. It just may not be for you. No, you might not be good with cameras. You might not be good on stage with the audio. You might not be good with lighting, and things is going wrong all the time. And maybe that's a sign for you to say, hey, I'm going to pivot over here, or money issues. You're not getting paid, you're not being compensated right. So maybe you want to go somewhere else with it. There's nothing wrong with that. You just got to know when it's time to enter and when it's time to exit, or when it's time to just leave things where it is. And then there's gonna be a period where the cycle is gonna revamp, it's gonna come back. It's like fashion is gonna come back. And if you was always on your fashion stuff, it's nothing to pick back up and still be in the loop. But if you leave it forever, then you have to get back. You might have to start from square one. And you got to blame yourself for that because you wasn't a believer. This whole thing is about believing. It's taking a risk, believing, getting on that journey, staying on that journey. That's it. You're going to take the good with the good, take the bad with the bad. There's no other way around it. On number 8, it raises your standards. So after setbacks, you become more detail oriented. You're monitoring your audio, checking framing, viewing footage twice. Your wiring, the way you organize your packaging. When it's time to travel, you're gonna put stuff inside your travel case a certain way. Whatever you're doing, things that break and things that get lost. Unfortunately, these are the setbacks that you have to learn in order to know what not to do. You're losing money, opportunity, the opportunity to not do something, not create, to not take that travel. Sometimes you're looking at the money, but you're not looking at the opportunity. You're not looking at even time. Setbacks include, just not caring about your time and then seeing the results of that and saying, I will never not care about my time again. I'm going to respect my time, or seeing someone disrespect your time because you do. You don't realize it because you're too cool with it. Then you're like, I can't be that cool, can't lay back because now this person is not really going to want to work, or they're not going to want to pay me for my time, but they're not going to really listen to what I got to say. And, frustration. So tighten up. Number 9, it creates stronger creative instincts. So, limitations push creativity. Some of the best visuals and sound design come from fixing mistakes creatively, which is 100% true. A lot, like, it's a balance between the technical and the creativity, and you have to make mistakes in both. And you have to make mistakes mainly with the technical side of things so you can get creative, but you have to get past that so you can get creative. So you got to make mistakes on the technical side. You got to learn the technical sides to eventually understand it and be confident with it and adapt with it. And then now you're just going to start getting real creative and you're going to be real confident with it. And you're going to do all kinds of dope stuff because you went through the setbacks, and it's making you sharp. It's making you say no or yes, yes and no. You got to really go through that. And, setbacks is important. Now, last but not least, they give you real stories that build credibility. Every pro has war stories. Setbacks turn into lessons you can teach. You can use as content to share, or experiences that clients trust. And that's true. So embrace your setbacks because it's going to show that you're seasoned. It's going to show that you know more, went through more, and it'll be more action and less talking. So even if you do talk, your actions will back up everything that you're saying. And ultimately be like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, obviously, because this story and the things that he's going through and the way he do it and how fast he does it, it all comes from setbacks. So before, and I'll leave you with this, before you look at somebody and be like, oh, this person's so great, you gotta really respect them, because you gotta say that it's, number one, it's not easy. And number two, how much stuff did you really go through for it to be effortless like this? So it's your boy Intro the Intern. It's info with intro, and I'm out. Play you guys tunes before I leave. It's not gonna be a big podcast today. Keep it short. We're gonna play Rats. Yeah.
It's Crack Masters, baby.
These niggas is rats. They ain't hard to find, cause they don't know how to act. I've been on the grind, cause I gotta get them racks. Bitches be scheming, so you gotta watch your back. Yeah. These niggas is rats. They ain't hard to find, cause they don't know how to act. I've been on the grind, cause I gotta get them racks. Bitches be scheming, so you gotta watch your back. Yeah. Truthfully, I've been on the grind, now you see.
I made a way, now you believe. It's the way that it just had to be. I be on the move, high on the moon. I ain't wasting time, dog. This is what I do. Fuck around, dog. You gon' fuck around, get chewed. When you see me, dog,
I just wanna
touch the loot. When you see me, dog, I just wanna see salute. The only time to crash is when I'm touching them blues.
the devil on my back, he know that I'm the truth.
Truth.
When you're doing better, you know this fuck you.
Let's go, yeah.
These niggas is rats.
Rats, they ain't hard to find, cause they don't know how to act. I've been on the grind, cause I gotta get them racks. Bitches be scheming, so you gotta watch your back. Yeah.
These niggas is rats. They ain't hard to find,
Cause they don't know how to act. I've been on the grind, cause I gotta get them racks. Bitches be scheming, so you gotta watch your back. Yeah. Stay tuned. Be sure to log on to www.introtheintern.com. There you'll see the music, beats if you need it for any of your projects or your business, services, audio and video, and of course my music videos and merch that you can support me on my journey. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'm out.